So thank you so much for joining us this afternoon and taking time off of your afternoon to speak with me and Martin.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we have with here today, she's the communications manager for Enrich, an NGO that helps domestic workers with their financial planning and more, actually. So please welcome, guys. Welcome to our Know Your Pangyao video segment. Please welcome Zamira Monteiro. Hi, Zamira.
Thank you. Hi, guys.
Hi. So, can you please tell us a little bit more about Enrich?
So, as you mentioned, Enrich is a Hong Kong-based charity. So we deliver financial and empowerment education for migrant domestic workers in Hong Kong. And we deliver this in English, English Tagalog often, and also in Bahasa Indonesia. And what our workshops do is we teach migrant domestic workers on how they can escape debt, on how they can plan for their future, how they can achieve the goals and dreams they set for themselves and for their families as well. And we run a range of programs to do this.
Oh, cool. So yes. Would you like to tell us more about some of these programs and what they...
Definitely, yeah. So at our core, we run workshops. So we have 5 main workshops. You can learn about them on our website. They're called Money-Wise Migrants, Growing My Money, Setting Up My Business, Money and Family, and Speak Up. And these workshops are super important because they take you through a range of different tools. So learning how to budget, how to prioritize your finances, how to set up a business if that's what you're interested in doing, how to do so sustainably, how to invest if you're interested in doing that, but how to do so safely so you can avoid scams. And then we also think that goes hand in hand with empowerment that needs to happen together. So we know that a lot of domestic workers have pressures from family when it comes to money, finances, remittances. So we run a whole workshop on how to communicate with your family about money, how to say no when needed, and also how to speak confidently, how to speak assertively if you need to, how to have difficult conversations, how to say no to friends if you have to as well. There are a lot of difficulties there. So that's what our core workshops cover. And if you finish all 5, you can actually join our annual graduation as well. Besides that, we also do lunch and learn. So our lunch and learns are like sort of, lectures. We bring in different experts on specialized topics. So for example, we've just recently finished our lunch and learn on investments with KPMG. And those, you can actually watch the videos of those on our Facebook page, Enrich HK. At the moment, we've also just kicked off a session with Experian, our partner Experian. And what we're doing is an interactive online game. It's actually a competition called Data Security Champion. And it's pretty cool. Basically, it's an online game that teaches domestic workers about how they can protect themselves online. So whether that's online dating or investments, things like that, just to make sure that you protect yourself and your finances, because there's been a lot of cases of domestic workers unfortunately losing money, losing data online, that kind of thing. So it's an interactive game. You can play the game, and then you can actually win prizes as well if you're one of the top winners. All the information is on our website. If you visit our website, you scroll down to Lunch and Learns, you'll see Data Security Champion on there. And besides that, besides our workshops and our lunch and learns, we also do one-to-one support. What we do is financial counseling. So a lot of domestic workers have issues with debt or with urgent financial decisions, especially right now. So we do one-to-one confidential, free financial counseling to help them manage their finances. And we also do mentoring. So for example, if you are working towards a certain goal, you need to check in with someone. We partner with corporates to be able to pair corporate volunteers with domestic workers so that they can access sort of impartial advice on their finances and their progress as well.
Yeah,
and so it's quite a range of different levels of support.
Yeah, I was just going to say, how are you actually running your courses at the moment? Are they in person, or are they all over Zoom?
It's been a challenge to begin with, but we've kind of settled into currently doing all our workshops online. We know that can be quite difficult. Zoom was very challenging for many of our community to learn, especially those who don't speak English, because Zoom is entirely in English. But we are running them all online right now. And the great thing about that is it means you can do it from home. You can do it from home, from your room, or if you're outside with a friend, you can do it with a friend. And it means that you can just, you can access it in a space that you're comfortable, because a lot of domestic workers don't feel comfortable in big groups right now. So we're doing them online for now. We hope, hopefully the situation in Hong Kong gets better. We hope to be able to resume some face-to-face classes as well in the future. But I think one thing that we have learned from this is that there is this demand for actually online workshops as well. There are people who don't have weekends off, or who take care of the elderly, and so they don't really get a day off really easily, who want to still do online workshops. So for now, all our workshops are online, and in future, we hope to actually do a bit of both.
Okay,
Sure.
so all these courses are free of charge, right?
So at the moment for our workshops, our core workshops, they're free until the end of October. So if you're watching this before the end of October, please do go and sign up. Our workshops, we charge a nominal fee. So it's $30 or $60 depending on the workshop. And the reason we do that is because we found that it's like an investment in your education. We actually find that people are willing to commit more when they know that they have to pay for something. It gives value to it. And so, but we actually at the moment, because of COVID, we're trying to support the community as much as possible. We're saying, hey, it's free right now till the end of October, please come and join. So yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, we'll give a shout out about it so
Yes,
that our users can.
But things like financial counseling are absolutely free for domestic workers who are paying for themselves. Of course, it's absolutely free. Yeah.
Okay. So I understand that Enrich have a new app available for domestic workers. So maybe you can tell us a bit more about that.
Yep, we do. We have a lot going on, actually. So the Enrich Planner app is we're really proud of it. It's the first app really that is tailored to domestic workers' financial needs. So we are very at Enrich, we have a particular value of not promoting financial products or promoting certain companies to domestic workers. We provide neutral education. And a lot of financial planning apps that exist out there often promote certain products, or they promote certain companies. And we wanted to build something that was also tailored to the needs of domestic workers. So the Enrich Planner app can be downloaded from Google Play. It's not currently available for iPhones yet, but hopefully we will in the future. But you can download it from Google Play, and it'll essentially help you plan your finances every month. So you can put in your income, you can put in your budget, or how much you are spending on different things. You can track your expenses. You can even track your loans on there. So you can input how much you're paying, what your monthly payment is, and just make sure that you're keeping on track with it. You can upload images if you have a receipt or something that needs to be tied to a particular payment. And then you can also, it'll generate sort of like pie charts and things, so you can see where your expenditure is going. And it's a great way also to see, oh, actually, I'm spending a lot more on this than I realized. Maybe I should cut down on that. So it's a really useful tool. Again, it's available in English and Bahasa Indonesia, so majority of the domestic worker community should be able to access it. And actually, it's a useful tool for anyone really to download and to use to manage your finances every month. Yeah.
Sounds amazing. So how long have this app been on Google Play now?
So we just recently launched it like a month or two ago. It's quite new. And also, of course, we're always looking for feedback on it. So far, we've received some really good reviews. And we're looking to make sure that more domestic workers can access it, because it's also about having, your finances in the palm of your hand. There's something empowering about knowing, seeing exactly where your money goes, knowing exactly how you're spending it. And a lot of domestic workers might be writing things on paper or keeping things, in drawers or in envelopes. And this is a great way to keep track of it in the palm of your hand.
Sounds great. Yeah. And we'd also like to congratulate you again for winning the NGO Leadership Program Pitching Day 2020.
Thank you.
Yeah, that
Thank
was
you
a
so
great
much.
win for the migrant community. And also congratulations on the Best Performance Award as well.
Thank you. Thanks so
Strong
much.
award, yeah. So, can you give us a little bit of your? I know that not exactly the pitch that you did, but can you just give us like a brief, just a
Looking
brief
for some tips
explanations?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, but for this win that you have.
Sure. So a bit of background on the program. The NGO leadership program is actually run by Operation Santa Claus, and it's run in collaboration with the Chinese University of Hong Kong and UBS as well. And so before this pitch day, we actually went through a few months of training on different topics that are relevant to NGO management and things like that. So when it came to doing this pitch, we had to, you have to pick a topic that you feel quite strongly and quite passionate about, that you see in the community you work with. And for me, that was debt. I've just seen personally, seen so many domestic workers who get in touch with us online saying, please help me. I need advice. I have so much issues with debt. What can I do? And it's so emotional, and it's so hard to watch, and to know that there are tools that are available. There is a way to get out of this. But really, there is nothing in Hong Kong that is specifically tailored to helping domestic workers get out of debt. At Enrich, we teach a lot of personal finance tools across our different workshops, which a lot of domestic workers use to actually, get out of debt. But what we're finding is there are many domestic workers who are constantly in a cycle of debt. So, they take loans for 3,000, 5,000, 8,000, some of them up to 30,000. We've seen up to 50,000. And they just constantly take out a loan to pay off this loan and this loan to pay off that loan. Little understanding of interest rates. And there's also money lenders who actually target the fact that they don't really understand how it works. So they target them because of financial illiteracy. So we just thought it's time to have a tailored tool to essentially help domestic workers get out of debt and stay out of debt as well. So we were just super proud because the project that we've won, it's the first time in the history of this program that a domestic worker project has actually won the funding. So it was something that was very gratifying for us. And we pitched a project called Debt Free Helper. And what we hope is that through 8-week programs, domestic workers will be able to join these programs and attend group workshops, and also have access to one-to-one support. And through this combination, they should be able to learn about, how do loans work? How do you plan to repay them? What's a repayment plan look like? What do unfair loan terms look like? And how do you avoid needing those loans in the future? So making sure that they have that access in group workshops, but also they can then attend one-to-one support and find out how that information applies specifically to their circumstances. This is something, it's not a new concept. Debt management exists globally. It exists in Hong Kong for Hong Kong residents, but it doesn't exist for domestic workers. And we know that 83% of the domestic worker community are in debt. They face some level of debt, which is huge, and also we know that because of the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of domestic workers are facing increasing financial pressures, increasing levels of debt. And so we just think it's time for a tailored solution to help them overcome this. Yeah.
The question is, what social issues would you particularly like to see improve in Hong Kong, which I guess is even more relevant in the current times in the last year or so?
Yeah, I think for, of course, like our focus at Enrich is always migrant domestic workers. And I think when it comes to the issues that face them, there are a lot of different challenges that they're facing, especially right now. I think for us, the focus will always be financial management and making sure that they are able to access education and that they're able to access support to be able to improve their finances. This was, I just talked about debt. Debt was an issue before the pandemic. Because of the pandemic, however, it's been made even worse. And what we find is that a lot of domestic workers don't necessarily know that help is available. So what happens then is they feel, okay, I'm here as a domestic worker. I just have to accept these problems. I just have to accept, like I need to take out a loan to pay off this, or I will be a domestic worker for a long time. Or maybe they have some goals in mind, but they don't know how to achieve them. So they came here saying, I'll save money for my child's education and then I'll go. But 10 years have passed and they haven't really made that plan to go home. I think this for me is a really big issue because they don't necessarily have access to support to be able to plan for that future, to know that actually they can use their time here wisely. And so that ends up being quite a disempowering relationship for them. You know, we really need them to take care of us and our loved ones. But are they actually getting out of this what they need to plan for their future for themselves and their families? That's something that I think we need to improve on. In Hong Kong, we have an aging crisis. We have an elderly population. And we know that we have to bring in more domestic workers. The government has said this, actually, that by 2047, we need to bring in 600,000 domestic workers to care for our elderly, you know. And absolutely, we need them. They need the jobs as well. But we need to make sure that it's a mutually beneficial relationship. And this is something that we feel very strongly about at Enrich, that the way to make it mutually beneficial is to ensure that they can achieve their financial goals. They can achieve the goals they set for themselves and their family, whether that's putting their kids through school, buying land, buying a house, setting up a business, putting themselves through school again, whatever it is for each person. And so for me, the biggest social issue is making sure that our domestic workers have access to that education, to be able to achieve those goals for themselves, access to support to be able to do so. I think the COVID-19 pandemic has really actually shown us as well how much we rely on domestic workers. You know, Hong Kong has been one of the countries which has been able to transition to working from home actually quite well, because we've got someone taking care of the kids, we've got someone cooking food, taking care of pets, cleaning the house. In other countries, a lot of people have had to negotiate all of that, including childcare, elderly care, by themselves. So actually, domestic workers have been a huge part of the COVID-19 effort also behind closed doors. But at the same time, if they're not able to achieve their financial goals and actually get out of debt and, you know, not be a domestic worker for 30 years, actually go home sooner and carry on with their lives, then it's not, if they're not able to do that, then it's not a mutually beneficial relationship. And that's something that I think I would love to see improved in Hong Kong.
Yeah, that would be great. And thank you for small steps, just getting the domestic workers aware that these programs are out there for them is already a big step. So
yeah,
for sure. Yeah, we've seen
part of what we're trying to do as well, really, is just make information a bit more easily accessible to people who don't always know it's available.
Absolutely. And we've seen the power of financial education. You know, we've seen incredible stories of like, some of our graduates who, didn't have a plan to do much. Like, for example, one of our graduates, Maravik, she went home after 10 years. She'd been with Enrich, I think, for about 5 years before she left, or 4 years. And she managed to pay off all her debts. And she managed to go home with, capital saved up for her business. She's now back in the Philippines. She's going to be setting up a garments business. And she has plans for other businesses as well. We have our one of our graduates, Sheena. Sheena was in Hong Kong. She left last year. She was in Hong Kong, I think, for a total of 4 to 5 years. And she came here with a huge amount of debt, which was actually accumulated by her family through credit cards. I think it was like 500,000 pesos or something like that. It was a lot of money. And she luckily found us very early on in her time here. And she was able to pay that off within 1 year. And then she spent the rest of the time saving for her kids' education. She set up an online social enterprise, which is doing quite well. And she has multiple other businesses. She's branched off into agriculture. She's like, all these other things. Once you have the education and the tools, there's so much that is possible. There's so much that you can do. And even if you've been here, we've had ladies join our workshops who've been in Hong Kong 25 years, 26 years. They've suddenly realized like, oh, I don't have anything for my retirement. I have nothing saved. I haven't had a plan. What do I do? It's not too late. You can still come and start planning for it. Now is the time to do it. So, we've seen the incredible power of what financial education can do for our domestic workers.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. But before we say our goodbyes, Zamira, we have just one more question.
Yes.
How can people get involved with Enrich in terms of donations, volunteering, or other means?
So we're always looking for donations. We are a charity that does not receive any government support from as a what they call non-subvented charities. So for us, we're always looking. We rely on private donations. If you're interested in fundraising for us, so for example, if you're doing a sponsored run or a hike, we've got a couple of our supporters doing that right now. Please get in touch and let us know. If you're interested in volunteering, there's a form you can fill out on our website to let us know how you'd like to help as well. If you are an employer of a domestic worker, we have a number of resources on our website that you can check out, but you can also sponsor your domestic worker to attend our workshops. So we provide, as I mentioned earlier, we provide our workshops at a nominal fee for the domestic worker community, and that's highly subsidized. So employers can actually sponsor their domestic workers for $500 for one workshop or $2,000 for the full 28-hour program. And for them, that's also an investment in making sure that the person taking care of their loved ones is also financially secure. So as an employer, you can do that. And if you're a domestic worker, join our programs. Again, check out our website, check out our courses, and you can register online. So you can create a free account on our website, and you can register online for any of our workshops coming up.
All right. Thank you so much,
Excellent.
Zamira. And to all
to
all the people watching this at the moment, we'll link all the links below in this video, and you can check them out on Enrich's website. Thank you so much, Zamira.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.